How are you doing, everyone? It's me, TheDomotaku, and today we're talking about the newest anime on the block for the season. That sounded catchy. Violet Evergarden. Very anticipated, highly indeed. When I saw the trailer, it looked freaking gorgeous. Kyoto animation. Just brilliant, brilliant. I was actually watching a Silent Voice recently again, for a second time, right? And I was like, man, I really love the animation work just done by Kyoto Animation. And when I was like, oh, then Violet Evergarden episode aired, and I was like, oh shit, it's time to watch this. And like, I could just honestly say, it's hella freaking gorgeous to look at. It was just freaking mind-blowing. I didn't, like, everything was just so beautiful to look at. I was like, brilliant, brilliant. So, a lot of things about this show. So, I was going into this anime, right, this episode with something in mind, and it was sort of entirely not what I expected. There's a lot of whole setting and world building and stuff and atmosphere in this episode that really intrigued me a lot, because the premise was like, oh, you have this person who is like a typewriter because people can't write and they write their messages for them, right? That was the main character's duty, right? So I assumed that she was an android or some shit like that, because she has like robotic arms and stuff, right? And that, yeah, she was like an android doing this job, and like, yeah, that was it, right? So we learned so much in this episode about like the world and the setting, because apparently, right, our main protagonist Violet is a freaking soldier, or like a post-war soldier. So she was a soldier in a war. She got injured in the fight, and now the war's over. She woke up afterwards. Who knows how long she's been asleep for, but the war is over. The war ended. So now this soldier is like free to do whatever she wants. The war's over. There's no fight to fight for anymore. So what does she do? She has nothing to do. And interestingly enough, right, in her time in the war, she's pretty good. And like, she's like one of those characters where she sees herself as like a tool, as a weapon. She's just made to do one thing, was to fight, and her main duty was to serve her colonel, or her like, what do you call it, their leader, or like your upperclassman or whatever, right? And she did her duty well. She freaking, like, in the very last minute of the episode just shows a lot of like so much fighting, man. So it really builds up what I expected coming into this show, because I knew that our protagonist was, of course, going to be like a interpreter, typewriter sort of thing. She has the robotic arms, but seeing how as she lost her arms in the war, and she fought like crazy. She was raised as a child to fight, and now that she's given this freedom, the war's over, she has no clue what to do. She's like, oh, what are the next orders from my colonel? It's like, where's the colonel? And then, like, he's probably dead, for one. And like, she's just like a soldier, like a person who doesn't know how to live. And I'm just like, damn, that's so deep. So essentially, when she wakes up, you have someone else from the army show up, who was also a colonel, I believe, but he retired. He started a postal service, because it's kind of hectic that this aftermath of the war happened, and there's no like mail going through the whole like world or whatever, right? So he creates this business. He gets Violet in there, and hires her as just sort of a thing to do, right? Because he's been given responsibility for her after the previous colonel died. I forget his name, but yeah. So she works in this office. She does her job dutifully, like to the teeth. Like, you tell her something to do, she will do it forever. Like, it's like she's like that. She's like she's like a soldier, basically. Like, she has that soldier mindset where you got a task, you just keep doing it. She doesn't care about sleep, rest, eating, or anything. She's just like driven, super driven. And that lifestyle is, we're not fighting anymore. She can be free. That's like the last words of the colonel, and she left with in battle too. She's like, run away, go on, live, and be free. And she didn't know what the hell to do afterwards. So now that she's running this postal service, eventually she discovers, like the job of like interpreting words for people, and then she gets curious about like emotions and the term like I love you and stuff. And I'm just like, damn, this is very deep, because the person who was in charge of her before liked her, but then he died in the war. And that's what you see in the very end of the episode, where you see the end credits playing. You see her in war just being freaking very brutal and very hardcore, and then towards the end you see her with her freaking arms ripped off, and then trying to save is like her best friend, or like, you know, her person she cares about the most, with her freaking like, she's trying to like drag him with his mouth and stuff because she has no arms. I was like, man, that's so freaking, it's brutal. I never expected this in this anime. And then of course, you know, he's just like, oh, like that's enough. I can't do anything anymore. We're both screwed. You just run, live, be free, and that's what happens. So yeah, a lot of intense stuff happened in this episode, but it really brings a lot to the plate and to the atmosphere and setting of this world, which I really did not foresee, to be honest. And that really hit me hard. And I was like, damn, there's so much to this anime and towards the world they put here, because we might see some like escalation from the war, like aftermath and stuff. You might see some like, I don't know, like post-traumatic stress or something like that from our main character Violet. You can see a lot of stuff. So yeah, the world they set up is really nice. It's a world after war, and you know, it's just a world that's recovering after the math of a war. And you know, like our main character is a soldier who's been raised to fight ever since she was a child, but now given freedom because there is no war to fight anymore. So then, how does she spend her time in this time of not fighting anymore? She's a typewriter. She's an interpreter, and she wants to do things for herself now. That's, or at least that's what the caretaker wants. He wants Violet to be free and make decisions on her own. You know, she's not someone's dog anymore. She's not a soldier. She's not supposed to fight. She's just a normal girl, normal person. But then she doesn't know how to be that, which makes it really interesting as we see her develop and grow. Like the first step she did in this episode was like, I want to become a typewriter. I want to interpret words of people and understand the words and emotions of I love you, because that's what the words that the colonel said to me before he died, and that was really deep. And this episode is just really beautiful. I can't wait to see episode 2, and thankfully this thing is not 12 episodes. It's going to be like 13 or 14. So yeah, that was just like the beginning spectacle of this episode. The first episode really hits you hard, especially towards the end. Like really, that the last parts of the episode really hit you hard. And you just see like that like emotion and intensity of like her trying to save the person she cares about the most. So freaking mind-blowing. So anyways, that's Violet Evergarden. It's freaking beautiful. It's like visually like mind-blowing, my eyes. And then like the whole like intense episode they did and then my impressions. It's good. It's really good, guys. I hope you guys haven't seen this yet. So that's it for Violet Evergarden episode 1. Can't wait for episode 2, guys. So what do you guys think about this episode? Do you guys think it's freaking visually mind-blowing to your eyes and everything? And what do you guys think about Violet? Because Violet is a very hardcore character. She's been trained to fight for her whole life, but now that she's free, she's gotta let go, and she's gotta learn how to be a girl. Start from bottom, then go to the top. So interesting to see how she develops throughout this whole series. So see you guys there. Take care, guys. Matane. And what anime are you guys watching this season? Are you watching this and other things? Leave in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next week for episode 2. Maybe. That's a big maybe. We'll see about that.